business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on Newspunch. We give you the information that you need, from business to economy, to politics, to technology. And that's all we do here on Newspunch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why we are here. Keep watching Newspunch from Ben Television. The program, and this is Newspunch coming to you from Ben Television. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show today. It's a kind of in London today. It's not a very terrible atmosphere out there in London today, following the potential terror incident that happened about 7:30 a.m. this morning, when a suspect drove a car, hitting about two cyclists and crashing into the security barrier at the Westminster Palaces here about 7:30, 8 a.m. this morning. The police have been reacting to the incident. They are currently treating the incident as terror-related, but there are also the insinuation that, in fact, not insinuation, the police have actually come out to say the suspect is not really cooperating as to disclosing the motive of the attack. But as it is at the moment, what happened in London today reminded us of what happened some time ago on the Tower Bridge, where a van was used to, run people over. Let's quickly listen to what the police is saying, and we'll come back to the program.
The driver of the Fiesta, who was alone in the vehicle, was arrested at the scene by armed officers who were already nearby. The man is in his late 20s and he's been arrested on suspicion of terrorism offences and has been taken to a South London police station where he remains in custody. Given that this appears to be a deliberate act, the method, and this being an iconic site, we are treating it as a terrorist incident, and the investigation is being led by officers from the Counter-Terrorism Command. Officers are searching the vehicle and no other weapons have been found at this time. At this early stage of the investigation, no other suspects at the scene have been identified or reported to police. There is no intelligence at this time of further danger to Londoners or the rest of the UK connected to this incident. Our priority now is to formally establish the identity of the suspect and establish his motivation if we can. He is not currently cooperating. However, as you would expect, detectives from the Counter-Terrorism Command are making various other urgent inquiries to ensure that there is no outstanding risk to the public. Can I urge anyone who thinks that they may have information that could assist the investigation to call us on 0800 789 321. That's 0800 789 321. And thank you for the many people who've already come forward. But similarly, if you've captured footage or images of this incident, you can download those to us via our website, ukpoliceimageappeal.co.uk. That's ukpoliceimageappeal.co.uk. Clearly, we are treating the scene and Parliament Square as a crime scene, so cordons are likely to be in place for some time, as the investigation team continues to carry out important work to establish exactly what happened. I can appreciate this has caused a great deal of disruption this morning to those who live, work or were visiting this area. Thank you to the public for their patience and understanding whilst we deal with the incident. We will be working as quickly and diligently as possible in order to reopen the area. But in the meantime, I'd ask that the public try and avoid Parliament Square and Westminster at this time. The safety of the public is always our top priority, and the Met Police will continue to do all that we can to protect the people of London. As always, the public should remain vigilant, and if you see anything suspicious or something that causes you concern, of course, please dial 999. So I'm happy to take a couple of questions.
Assistant Commissioner. Were police already in pursuit of the vehicle before it collided with cyclists? and then collided with the gate. Well, the footage appears to show sirens behind the car, 2 police vans. Is that the case?
No, I've heard that this morning. There wasn't a police car in pursuit of the vehicle. I believe it was an ambulance on a
Assistant Commissioner, the vehicle appears to drive deliberately at 2 police officers. Does it look as if the driver was targeting the police officers specifically?
We can't say that at this time. I mean, it certainly appears to be a deliberate act, but what the motivation is, we can't say.
Was it somebody that counter-terrorism police officers or the counter-extremism network was aware of before, the man that you have in custody?
We haven't formally identified him yet, so it's too early to make that judgment. On the details that we have at the moment, we don't believe this person was known to either MI5 or counter-terrorism policing. And at that point, thank you very much for your patience.
All right, that was the report being given by the Metropolitan Police earlier today, giving us details of what really happened at Westminster today. Earlier on, the exit at the Westminster station was shut. People were not allowed into the Westminster station, either out of the Westminster station. We do believe that the cordon off at a point has been lifted at the moment, but investigations into what really happened are ongoing. The police is calling for more information from people who have actually witnessed that incident. But this incident again reminded us of what happened some time ago on Top Bridge, where a man used his van and ran into a couple of people, injuring and killing people, and the government seemed to have done quite a lot in terms of dealing with terror and security issues here in Britain. But it appears this is not going away at all. I've got my guest in the studio who will be joining me in the meantime to look at what really happened dealing with terror and security issues in Britain. My guest is Dr. Bakri Owolabi. Dr. Bakri Owolabi is the director of the Center for African Research at the Queen Mary University, London, here, and he is a specialist in quite a wide range of fields, but more specifically on accounting and business. And his office has allowed him to deal with issues more broadly affecting the black people around the world, being the director for Center for African Research. So that's my guest, and we'll be looking at what really happened dealing with terror and security issues in Britain, and we will take a look at what that institute is also doing in helping the black community worldwide. Dr. Owolabi, thank you for joining us on the program today, sir. You watched that clip. It's going to be played over again. What are your thoughts about dealing with terror issues in Britain? It seemed this is not going away. It's happening again. People being radicalized. Young people. The suspect today is a young man of about 27 years old. When he was brought out, he was seen to be a black man as well, living somewhere in the Midlands. But your view, sir, your thoughts about security and terror issues in Britain?
Thank you very much. To be honest with you, each time this type of problem comes up, anywhere in the world, not only in Britain, you see, you get hot, especially when you see people of your own origin being involved. Then you continue to ask yourself, what are the motives behind this? Why are these young boys, girls, and so on, who's supposed to be in school, get good, proper education and become a sort of asset to the society, are now turning into this type of problems? I mean, you see last time, some very beautiful young girls abandoning their education to go and join a IC. Then you continue to wonder, I mean, as a father myself, what may be the problem? To be honest with you, you see, this problem will continue so far we cannot use radical education to counter radicalism itself. You see, it's not just when the matter, of course, then we just say, oh, we're going to do this and that, which, of course, at the end of the day, we may not be achieving any result.
Fire brigade approach.
Excellent. That is not the solution. The government, not only the government, the solution is not only lie in the hands of government. Anybody saying that is not coming to the truth of the matter, and there will be no solution there. It actually lies more or much in the family upbringing. Because you see, what I'm saying is, for example, if I'm to speak for the black race, each time I see a black girl, black boy, see the question of a knife crime, for example. See, most of the cases in East London involve blacks. Then you continue to ask yourself, these blacks, are they actually originating from Africa, or where did they come from? So the society, has a lot of role to play. When I say society now, not only the government, the parents, school, parents, because you see, charity begins at home. Where you, the parents, the father and the mother, you are determined to bring up a child to be able to meet life challenges, that child will definitely become a responsible person in the society. And that's exactly part of the reasons for the Africans, the research center here. Because what we are trying to do there is to provide African solutions to African problems.
And by African, you don't mean Africa in Africa.
No.
You mean black people
Excellent.
around the world.
Look, I will say Africans at home are in diaspora. And when I say diaspora, I mean wherever you see ACP, African, Caribbean, and the Pacific. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even the black Americans are involved, because at the end of the day, we all originate from the same place called Africa. So what can we do here? As a father myself, what I believe is, once the parents are prepared to take charge of their families, that is the beginning of the solution.
All right. But before we delve deeper into parental responsibility,
That's right.
in dealing two issues you've raised here. You spoke about strategic education.
Excellent.
You spoke about radical education.
Very good.
To deal with radical
problems.
terrorism.
Very
radical
good. Very
problems.
good.
We'll come back to that. I don't expect anything less. You yourself being in academics, radical
That's
education.
Right. That's right. Critical.
We'll come back to talk about that.
That's right.
We will also come back to talk about role of parents.
That's right.
A young man of 27. Most of those people that have been involved in this terror are young people that should have career or pursuing a line of career, suddenly being turned into instrument of death by terror cells being organized around the world. We'll come back to talk about the role of parents.
That's right.
But let's look at the reactions of the police when this incident happened. The next footage you're going to see now is the instant reaction of the Metropolitan Police when the report came to them about this incident. Under 5 minutes, we saw the police swooping on this suspect, arresting the situation, and bring the situation to an instant close. Let's see what the police did here.
Does it look as if the driver was targeting the police officers specifically?
We can't say that at this time. It certainly appears to be a deliberate act, but what the motivation is, we can't say.
Was it somebody that counter-terrorism police officers or the counter-extremism network was aware of before, the man that you have in custody?
We haven't formally identified him yet, so it's too early to make that judgment. On the details that we have at the moment, we don't believe this person was known to either MI5 or counter-terrorism policing. And at that point, thank you very much for your patience.
to economy, business, technology, the totality. That was the instant reaction of the British police at the Westminster Bridge. I mean, we give it to the first responder, the police, and other agencies of government, including the ambulances that arrived early enough to treat people that were injured, and also the police that arrested the situation almost immediately. Dr. Bakri, before we come back to those other two issues, let's look at the responses of British police when things like this happen. They have this effectiveness in dealing with issues like this.
I mean, this is why you call this, countries like Britain advanced world. You see, they give, for every problem, they respond in an advanced way to show you that, effectively, to show you that, look, you can't do this here, we will get you, or we will arrest the situation immediately. So that is a commendation to the British police.
But the question people have actually raised is the environment where that happened. The Westminster seems to be one of the places in the world that is extremely policed by CCTV. In fact, the central London, the Westminster area has more CCTV cameras, more than any advanced cities in the whole of Europe. And they say, look, we have CCTV everywhere. How did this guy manage to beat the cordon, the security, the CCTV, and somebody did not notice that this guy that is driving this is aiming at somebody? That's been that argument against the police. Do you think it's fair on them?
Well, it's, look at the situation. To be honest with you, even if you have cameras underground, there is a limit to which you can be able to capture or to watch everybody. You see, people who are about to do anything evil.
Criminals.
Excellent. You see, police want to avoid criminality or any offense of such being committed. But those who are about to do that,
they always look for a way to beat the system.
No, there's no doubt. In the camera or no camera, look at, you see, this thing is not peculiar to, Britain. Look at what is going on in France. What is going on in the US? So the question is, police can only try within their limit. They cannot, you see, don't get it wrong. Worst, these criminals, then they can go to the extent of even dressing up in police uniform to beat the system. When you see your own colleague coming, in the uniform and so on, you don't suspect that person. Before you know what is going on, the atrocities will have been committed. So the police can only try within their own capacity also. And don't forget, we are in democracy. Police cannot just jump on anybody on the road and say, I suspect you of terror. That will become a case again. So they have to be very sure. You see, the police commander or the assistant commissioner was very, very diplomatic when a pressman said, give us the identity. Even though they may have known the identity already, but he's very careful not to say anything that will generate tension again.
For that tension.
That's right.
Okay, let's come back to the two issues you raised.
That's right.
With terror-related issues and crimes within the black community.
That's right.
You being a director of a center that looks into dealing with African issues affecting the African community anywhere in the world with African solution. You have, by what you said, you are advocating radical education. You want to talk us through this further?
This very, very, thank you. So when I say radical education, it has to be very, very systemic. You follow what I'm saying now? You see, I said earlier, radical problem requires radical solution. Okay? The education is not only, it should not only be coming from the school. Because you see, some parents, once they throw their word or their children to school, they think it is the responsibility of the teacher to take care of the child. No. When I say radical now, the education will have to be from every angle for the child. Say, let me give an example. I think about last year, I was just going on the road. I mean, I'm the type who describe myself as a father of Africans. So I saw this boy with school uniform coming back from school. And I said, how are you, boy? He said, oh, uncle, good afternoon. This and that. I said, which school are you going? He said, this school in Grace. I said, in which form are you? He said, he was in he was doing his A-level. Then I said, hang on, that's good. Which university are you going? He said, university. Nothing like that. I said, what happened? He said, no. I said, what will you be doing after your A-level? He said, I'll just go into Tesco and work. I said, Tesco? No. You know, I went to the extent of using a system to get his parents' address. Believe me, honestly, when I got home, I called the unfortunately, he was only living with the mother. I called, the mother said, oh, my son said, I said, yes. I said, why is he not going to? He said, uncle, if you can help me to talk to him. I asked him to go to school. He said he won't go to school. Because what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when this boy can't go to school, this boy will become a deviant. You cannot just wake up like that and say, the next thing is you go to Tesco. Or, yeah, there's nothing wrong in working at Tesco. But get that particular top education before you know where to go. You know, as I'm talking to you, this boy is now at Leicester University. You see my little influence.
Intervention.
Believe me, honestly, he's at Leicester University. Every time now he comes back from school, he came back from school about 2 months ago. He came to my house and said, uncle, good afternoon. I said, oh, this is Tesco man. He said, don't call me Tesco man. You know what I'm saying? So it is a responsibility of every black. Don't say because you are in Britain or here everybody for their own problem. No, that is not the way out. The way out is for us to see ourselves as a community, helping each other, taking care of our own brothers' word and so on.
Right.
So this is a radical education. Education doesn't necessarily mean go to school.
For walls of
Excellent. Not to just like that. It is a thing. See, the way my 2 daughters were brought up is the way I want everybody to bring up their children. So at the end of the day, how can my daughter with MSc distinction in accounting and finance now be convinced by anybody and say, let us go to Syria? She will say, hang on, are you all right? What are they doing? You want me to go to Syria to work in a bank? Then you say to come and do IC. What is IC? International community or what? So this is the problem. See, the idle mind is idle. See, once you don't have anything to do, you become. That is why when I say, look at the statistics of the blacks, or the people with knife crime in our eastern part of London. Majority of them are blacks. That should hurt any African parent to say, hang on, what is going on?
More black youth have been killed in recent time than in any other time.
Yes.
In London,
yes.
Killed a black youth, killed by another black youth.
This is what I'm saying.
And the criminal has parents, the victims have parents.
Yes.
And they are black parents.
Yes. So you see, when you look deep down into the background of some of these children, I'm not saying all of them, some of them, or in fact majority of them, there must be one issue or the other at the background, their parental background.
All right, let me put you on hold. Then we need to go on a short break now.
Yeah.
When we come back from this break, the phone line is going to be open. You'll be able to have a chat with us as we take a look at this issue of dealing with crime and terrorism in the United Kingdom. My guest in the studio has said this is not only the problem of the government, it's also the problem of the community. Do you agree? You as a parent, do you think parents have a role in ensuring that one's children do not go astray? When we come back from this break, you'll be able to join us on the program. Don't go away. Of what makes man is what we bring to you here.